Hey guys, GMO here, and today we're going to be looking at the best budget decks for all classes. Alright guys, so these are going to be the decks that we're going to be looking at, so I have one or two for each class, and the rules for this is they could have one legendary that it's either very common, like the most popular, like zilliax, like maybe there will be one zilliax, or it will have free cards like Mage or like that new Mech, I forgot his name right now, I don't know why. Alright guys, so this video will be pretty short, but there will be deck codes down in the descriptions. There will be no gameplay, so there's no need for the timestamps. It's going to be pretty short. And if you guys like this type of content, please hit the like and subscribe button. Alright guys, so starting off with the budget druid here, we got two decks. We got the token druid and the Jade Druid. So the token druid will be your real budget option. You can see here it only costs 2,840. It's very cheap. It has mostly commons. It's really not missing anything except maybe Sir Finley and so a little bit of a pirate package. But all in all, you can still get to legend with this. Super strong. So yeah. So talking about the Jade Druid, I thought this deck initially was going to be more expensive than it was. But like Vargoth is pretty key to this deck. So everybody has it. It's free, so not bad. I mean, you do have the Aya Blackpaw, which would be a good inclusion, but it's fine without it as well. You just put in some more Jade Behemoth. If you like, you could even put in another one. But yeah, not such an expensive deck. It costs 4,700, but I mean, it has a couple of epics, and the ultimate manifestation I do think is key to run two of them. It really helps your deck keep going in the long run, especially when you're shuffling Jade Idols back into your deck. So yeah, I recommend both of these decks. Super good. I'm pretty sure you can get to legend with both of them. Particularly, I like the token druid a little bit better. I think it's just a little bit faster. It's more completed, it feels like. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alright guys, moving on with the budget hunter, we have the Mech hunter and the mid-range beast hunter, which is like the more standardized. So starting off with the Mech hunter, is extremely good deck. You could easily get to legend with this bad boy. So you do have two legendaries in here, the Snip Snap, which of course is free, so everyone should have this. And if you don't, sub it out with any other mech that has magnetic on it and you should be good. Then you also have zilliax, which I think most people in this game have it just because it's so well used in standard and in wild. So you definitely do need to craft this, so that's why I included it, because I would think most of y'all have this card. So yeah, nothing much needs to be said about this deck. Super fast, just go ham, just reduce all the mechs from your hand and hit the face, right? So now moving on to the Beast Hunter, it's just a little bit similar. I mean, you know, the mid-range playstyle, and then they're all beast, all the minions in here, so you could shuffle some back into your deck, and then you could discover some as well. And with that card that discovers beast from your deck, you get 3 of them, so it's pretty much every time it's a draw 3, so that fuels you up pretty nicely. I mean, yeah, the mid-range hunter doesn't really need much legendaries, although it would be nice, but the high main is pretty damn good. It's almost like a legendary. It's like running 2 of them, right? And yeah, you guys know the name of the game. Just hit face and keep going, right? So on to the next one. Alrighty boys, moving on to Mage. We don't really have much to say about the Mage. There's only one deck that I could come up with. It's like the Secret Burn Mage. That's what I call it. I mean, I've seen it a lot in ladder. But I mean, any variation of budget Mage that you want to run, you need a Luneth. That's why I have it. It's the only legendary in here. But if you try to run any other budget mage without a Luneth, it just kind of sucks, right? So craft the Luneth, boys, if you want to play budget mage. If not, there's plenty of other classes that could also do well. But yeah, move on. Alrighty, boys, moving on to another juicy class. We have the Paladin here. So there's 2 ways really to run this. So I picked out the Odd Paladin here, which is pretty budget. You don't really need that much legendaries. All you need is the Baku, which it's a card that you should already have, or you should be thinking about crafting it, especially if you, I mean, it's just an OP card, right? But yeah, it's just a deck that works extremely well. Easily get to legend, easily get to rank 1 legend, right? I mean, you're not really missing much. Can't even think of them top of my head. You're missing patches and I don't even know. But yeah, looking into the Mech Paladin here, so I think this is an interesting variation. It has some buff synergies, and I think it's very strong. So once again, you do have 2 mechs. You have the Snip Snap, which is free, and you have the Zilliax, which you should have by now, like I said. And I mean, it just runs very aggressive. If you get lucky and end up buffing everything in your hand, and then magnetizing it on top of that, you just have extremely aggro deck. I mean, pretty strong deck. It actually has some decent card draws. So you have Crystology, which will sometimes draw you the Jivs, which the Jivs just keeps going ham, especially if you can buff his health. It goes pretty crazy if you get everything rolling in the right way, right? So yeah. Alright boys, up next we have the Priest here. So there's only one deck, And I mean, any variation of priest that you try to make it budget is pretty much involves dragons, and the best way to run dragons is with the package, the inner fire, and the doubling them up, right? I mean, you could really do some other stuff, but it just ends up not working too well. It's just a bunch of shenanigans. So ultimately, this deck is great. That's what I meant to say. And yeah, you could easily get to legend, easy craft, and moving on. Alright guys, so up next we do have the rogue. The rogue, we have the odd rogue here, which the only legendary you need is Baku, like I said, and you pretty much run a bunch of good stuff. You're just cutting out some of the legendaries here, but all in all, it's a decent deck. I mean, it's an odd rogue. It's just a little bit weaker, but it still performs pretty much the same, so it's great overall. Then you also have the tempo rogue, which pretty much runs all the even and odd cards that you would run tempo-ish. So it's pretty damn good. Your opponent never really knows what the hell you're doing. Yeah, the card draw that you do run is just discovering your opponent's things, and I mean, you do get the synergies that come with that. With the latest expansion, it's pretty good. So yeah, pretty fun deck to play actually, because you can normally discover it into your options, or you can get lucky. So yeah, I recommend this one. It's not that great though, but I recommend it. So we can move on. Okay, so now with the budget shaman, we have two decks that are insanely strong in the meta. So one of them will be the Warlock shaman, which is like one of the best decks in the game just as it is. You really don't need to sub anything out. This thing is OP as hell. I mean, very cheap to make. I actually really like it because of that. It gives a lot of new players something that they can play that is insanely good. And then you also have the immense shaman, right? So once again, like I said, the only legendary you need will be your again Greymane, and then just take out a couple cards here and there to make it a little bit cheaper. And yeah, it still runs amazing. You're really just tagging out what the AI and maybe the Lich King, but you're running things like the Thunderhead, for example, which is pretty good, and the Lickham. Yep, that card is really good. So yeah, both of these insanely good. So let's just take a look at the last two. Alright guys, up next we do have the Warlock here. So the cheapest version of Warlock you could definitely run will be Zoo. And this one is personally my favorite. I think it is the best one. There's also Heal Zoo, and then there's a couple other ones. But this is by far the cheapest, I believe. It does run two epics, which is the Hobgoblin and the Magic Carpet. But that's about it. But those two are definitely necessary if you do want to build this deck, which I think is worth it. It makes the deck pretty damn fun to play. So yeah, it's my version of Zoo. I really enjoy this one. So yeah, just go to the last one. Alright guys, so at last we do have the budget warrior. Of course, it's the pirate warrior. It's the only version that I could make that is good. It's pretty much only aggro. The mid-range one with the rush minions doesn't really work out because you need a lot of legendaries as an end game. So yeah, this is the only thing I could come up. It's not as good as if you do have legendaries though, because the legendaries do help a lot, like the Leroy Jensen's, the patches, and the green skin. Those are major key, but it still works decent, right? Not the best, but still a great deck. So yeah, that about wraps it up. That's it guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video.